Have you ever worried about a test before? Can you remember countless nights studying, preparing, and stressing for a big test? Imagine having to stress about your biggest test of your high school career and how much pressure is on the line. I can guarantee you most students have felt this weight on their shoulders and experienced all of the negative effects when the test isn't even an accurate measure of knowledge. Why make students work themselves so hard for a test that shouldn't even be taken into account to admit students to college? I'm a former high school student and have been through the struggle and stress before in my life. I have also been around people who have stressed about it way more than I have, and it's not a pretty sight. I have seen the toll it has taken on people, and I felt that in my life as well. I was preparing for the ACT. Every year, high schoolers everywhere take the ACT when it comes time. Juniors are cramming as it is coming up quick for them. Sophomores, freshmen, and many times even younger grades are already preparing to study. This test can have a significant pull in getting kids everywhere into their dream schools. The pressure they feel to perform well is tremendous, considering the test can alter their future. Students preparing for the ACT will go to extreme measures to try to get the results they desire to have the best shot at starting their future. They will stay up for hours on end studying, which can be detrimental to their sleep and health. Spend excessive money on tutors, try to cheat their way through it, skip out on other things like eating or exercising in order to make time for studying. Too many students, this test defines them. Having students put all their self-worth into the result of a test can be extremely harmful to their mental health. The ACT is an inaccurate measure of knowledge, and the lengths students will go in order to perform well on it is unhealthy for them, not only mentally, but also physically. It should not weigh so heavily into a student's college acceptance, considering it does not truly show a student's capabilities. I'm Robert Bloom, and today I'm going to be talking about the negative effects of taking the ACT and why I believe it should not be required for students. Let's talk about why I don't believe in the ACT. I think the biggest reason and the most renowned reason is because it causes intense anxiety and stress on these teenagers who can also become very fatigued during these tests. According to Lucas Polchaw, he claimed in his article that for a test that is just supposed to be a test of one's ability becomes stressful and inaccurate and unfair. Also, adding on top of that, due to the length and size of the test, it causes students to be fatigued, which can also alter their score. For most high school students, their junior year is considered their hardest and most consuming year, even without having the ACT. This causes students to lose focus in the classroom, which affects their grade. Also, they are found hurting their mental health in the process. Lucas also claims that the best way to help reduce the stress and anxiety is to study a textbook or even a prep class prior to the ACT. According to Steve Sheeter from his Why Does Your Teenager Have Test Anxiety from the ACT or SAT, they judge themselves too harshly in the preparation for the test. When they start thinking of the difficulty they have faced during or before the test, makes them feel stupid or unworthy of themselves. The ACT is one of the many games we have to play in life, but not one of the games where we have to lower people's self-esteem, especially kids. There are many great people who take the ACT and aren't able to show their greatness on the test like this. In addition to why the ACT not only causes stress before the test, it can also cause stress after the test. This is because some students overestimate their ability to get a good score, and when their test comes back, it isn't even close to their goals, which also ultimately causes their stress to come right back around to them. Kids these days also compare themselves to other kids and try to make it a competition, or just try to do better than the person next to them, instead of just focusing on themselves and their own scores. Basically showing that these kids get nothing positive in return for comparing themselves to other kids. According to Rodrigo Ordonez Enrique, he asked students firsthand on why these tests have been causing them stress. Sophie Swiss claims that she and other students feel very unprepared going into the test. And also, the constant pressure of the test also causes her stress. The ACT is also an inaccurate measure of knowledge and students' capabilities. Another reason why I don't believe in the ACT is because it's not an accurate test of what the student or person is really capable of. According to Kate Oley, and why the ACT is more about test taking than intelligence, she states that a study in 2020 found that students' grades and GPA are 5 times stronger than the ACT score to predict which students will go to college, which entirely claims that the ACT shouldn't really matter. Not even just predicting who making it to college, the GPA also helps more accurately to find who will excel in their future than the ACT. The ACT cannot accurately test the students on any prior background or knowledge they have. They just have to read and try to answer the hidden tricks the authors throw down in each of these questions. From the article, The ACT Biased and Accurate, written by Fair Test, they claim that the ACT is biased. They say that basically whichever family has the better income is going to do better on the test. This is solely because they have better educational opportunities. They also say that the format of the ACT is very biased. It is favored in the male's direction because of the fast-paced multiple choice in which males are willing to take the risk and get a reward. In a study back in 1992 at the University of Chicago State showed that kids who scored the middle of the test in high school, the ACT overpredicted their performances in college. The class that had the highest average ACT scores among the kids in the study yet performed more poorly academically over the 4 years in college. Conclusion: the ACT, the big test, is not a very accountable or rewarding test. The test has become a very inaccurate test of knowledge and also leading cause of stress and damage to students' mental health. We have gone over the evidence of how students are overcome with stress and anxiety, and how it's not an accurate of one kid's greatness. The ACT is an inaccurate measure of knowledge, and the lengths students will go in order to perform well on it is unhealthy for them, not only mentally but physically. It should not weigh so heavily into a student's college acceptance, considering it does not truly show a student's capability. It's inevitable as times go on, things change. When will we start having a true test of who people really are?